All right, we are back. We have 2 hours before the game, 3 hours before the game. Packers Commanders. We have Packers -3. That moved down from 3.5. So got some action on the Commanders. Got a bunch of bets for you. One that I really, really love. One really deep. I have a deep touchdown, first touchdown scorer. Had some good luck. I've hit on 2 of these already. Caleb Williams at 20-1, and then Dalton Kincaid at 20-1. So that seems to be the number. One of these is really deep. We're talking 100-1. So stay tuned for that one. We go through all the prop bets, answer your start sit questions, you name it. Wait for a few people to get in here, and we'll get going. So give me your questions for the game, start sit, general week 2 stuff, and then we'll get through my best bets of the night. There's quite a bit of them, so it's never that smart to place 5 or 6 bets on a Thursday night game, but I'm confident in these. Definitely confident in my four-leg parlay. I always got to place the parlays when you get the boosts. That's how they rope you in. You just got to be conservative with them, make a little bit of money. So I do like the over at 48.5. So I think it's still 48.5. Week 1, so there was I think 3 of the total games went over. So this week, actually, I don't advise doing this, but starting with Sunday Night Football and then Monday Night Football, I placed over on those 2 games and then every game this week. So usually in the NFL, I know under is a smarter bet. Unders usually hit about 54%. But when you see a week that only 3 games went over, I think that it's going to even out, and I can see at least 10 of these games going over. So at worst, you're going to break even, lose a little bit of juice, but I really like the over in almost every game. Oh, there's some I like the under. I just bet the over on all of them. These things tend to turn around, so that's what I'm banking on. But my four-leg parlay I love. We're going to go through some of the bets here. We'll wait for a couple more people to get in here, but if you have any questions, any bets you like, hit up the comment section. Let me know. Maybe at the end of the show, we can make a little combined parlay for everyone. I like to do them at least 10-1. I want to make a little bit of money, right? Make it worth our time. This is a good game, though. Usually the Thursday night games are quite stinky, but I like this one. Packers look great against the Lions. Commanders didn't look as good as you would think against a shitty team. Oh, no audio. You got audio? All right, we're good. I don't know what's going on with yours, TV. Anyway, two good teams here. Commanders didn't look as good as you would think against the Giants, but their defense actually looked good. I don't know if that's a reflection of how bad Russell Wilson is or their defense is improved. I know they added some guys, so should be a good game. I love the over in this game, though. Jordan Love looks great. Jaden Daniels is going to extend every drive. Love that. So let's get into the bets here. Well, we got some people in here. My best bet of the week, this game, is Jordan Love is 5.5 yards rushing, over 5.5. That is wildly low. I think he had more than that in game 1, but they didn't ask him to do anything. He's finally healthy. He looked nimble. 5.5, man. I laddered this all the way up. I did I did a 15 plus. I did 25 plus. I went all the way up to 60. 60 plus is, I think, like 50-1. No, hola. We got a question from last name Montgomery, Chubb, Walker, full PPR, start 1. You got audio now, TB? Montgomery, Chubb, Walker. I think you're still starting Kenneth Walker, man. As much as I don't like doing it, I think you have to. I think this is it. If he fucks you this week, screw Kenneth Walker. We're out. We're done with him. Especially if you see him get out snapped by Charbonnet again. But I think you're still rolling Walker. I think the safe play is probably Montgomery. I mean, those are all really, really close. But Jordan Love over 5.5 rushing yards. Sadly, I got it at 6.5, which kind of pisses me off. I thought that would trend up to like 7.5 or 8.5. That's such a low rushing yard total. And I know if they win the game, he's going to get some kneel downs probably. But Jordan Love is a sneaky athletic, man. His rookie year, he had over 300 yards rushing. This is a gift. Like, this is almost a Matt Stafford, like 3 years ago, Matt Stafford number. And he can definitely run, man. And he's going to have to run in this game. I expect a close game, a high-scoring game. You're getting some value there. Especially, I like the ladder, man, the laddering it up. 15-plus yards is 3-1 odds. That is lovely, man. Like, that is just one nice scramble on get like a 3rd and 7. He gets 15 yards. You get your bet. I love running quarterback rush totals. That's like one of my favorite things to bet in the world. So really into that one. I also like the over, like I said, 48.5. If I had to pick a side, I think I'm taking Packers -3. Now that's been going from -3 to -3.5. If it gets to 3.5, I think I would lean on the Commanders getting the hook there. I believe it's going to be a field goal game. So I can see this game being like a 28, 20, 27, 24 type score. And, if I was going to take a value in terms of the money line, I don't like Packers -170. I would go Commanders +142. Kind of a toss-up kind of game. So I do have a parlay that I love here. It's Jaden Daniels over 46.5 rushing yards, over 48.5 for the game total. Terry McLaurin over 53.5, and then Jordan Love over 5.5 rushing yards. Got to add that one in there. That's 9-1. That pays 9-1. So I do like that one. If you want to get adventurous and take the Packers -3, I wouldn't blame you. Or if you want to get even more value, take Commanders +142 on the money line. If you guys have any start-sit questions, I am here to answer those. We can talk them out as a group. I'm no expert. I'm just a professional fanatic. Hence the channel name. My boy Story couldn't join me today, so I'm doing this solo. We got Steve. Start, sit, Jordan Mason or Jalen Warren. I think I'm going to go Jordan Mason, even though it's probably a bad call. My gut says is this PPR? I think in PPR, you have to go Warren. If it's half PPR or standard, it's definitely Mason. So I think the scoring is going to depend on my decision on that one. What do you guys think in the chat? Oh, PPR makes it tough, man. I do think Jordan Mason gets a touchdown this week. He looks way better than Aaron Jones. He outsnapped Aaron Jones. And the nice thing is with the suspension to Addison, they did split out Aaron Jones wide on 8 or 10 snaps, which, yeah, that's good for Aaron Jones, but that's even better for Jordan Mason because that's just an extra 8 or 10 snaps. Mason's going to get in there. They're already at a 50-50 split, but now you're looking at 60% of the snaps for Jordan Mason. And Vikings look good in the second half. They look great in the fourth quarter. McCarthy definitely had some nerves, but the fact that he pulled that game off on prime time, his first game in 2 years, was it was nice, man. I good for you, JJ McCarthy. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't a big fan of him coming out. We'll see how it materializes, but he's dropped into a great situation. The Vikings are going to be competitive all year, and Jordan Mason looks like he's going to pay off. And we got him in like the 8th round, probably. I think it's soon to be Jordan Mason's season, and if anything happens to Aaron Jones, we know he's pretty frail. He's old. He's a soft tissue injury waiting to happen. Jordan Mason would probably be ranked inside the top 15 weekly. Yeah, because I mean, all the Vikings players' success is going to be tied to JJ McCarthy because they got no one else there. I think they still have Nick Mullins. Actually, it'd probably be better with Nick Mullins because Nick Mullins is a gunslinger. But if JJ McCarthy can just do 80% of what Sam Darnold did last year, I think one of the nice things, though, is seeing how bad Sam Darnold looked. Gives you more optimism for JJ McCarthy because Sam Darnold was a top 8 fantasy quarterback last year through, 35 touchdowns with pretty much the same team. So I doubt JJ McCarthy, at least for the whole year. I feel like he's a better player than Sam Darnold at this point in his career. So that does make me happy. I have JJ in a super flex league as my quarterback too. And I'm looking forward to some good JJ McCarthy games. And what's nice about JJ is his scrambling upside. He definitely has that. So if you guys just joined the chat, my bet of the game Thursday Night Football is Jordan Love over 5.5 rushing yards. That's a smash. Ladder that one all the way up. Got Packers D and Daniels. Is that a safe hedge? Yeah, I mean the Packers D. The problem is they're a long-term D, right? You want them all year, and I'm not into rostering two defenses. So if you're going to bench the Packers D, it then you have to spend a second roster spot on. And defensive teams are so random. Like they could still give up 28 points tonight, but if they get a fumble return for a touchdown or a punt return for a touchdown or a pick six or even like 3 or 4 sacks, dude. Jaden Daniels, he looked okay, but the Giants had a good pass rush. But I mean, you're keeping the Packers D, and I like the hedge there because if Jaden Daniels goes off, if the Commanders go off, Jaden Daniels is going to go off. And yeah, Packers might get you 3 or 4, but Daniels is going to score 30. So, and on the other end, if they struggle, Daniels is still going to put up his 20 fantasy points with his legs, but the Packers defense might get 10. So I do like that. And I guess the big point is you don't want to roster two defenses. Like that's why I don't ever draft an elite defense, because you're forced into starting. If you drafted the Ravens, you're forced into starting them against the Bills week 1 because you don't want to roster two defenses. And look how that worked out. I got Jordan Mason at 9.9. Apparently, that's really good, man. That's about right. I think he was going like early 9th in most of the weeks I did. I think I might have taken him in the end of the 8th once, just because I didn't like anyone on the board, and I feel like he had amazing upside. Hola. Adrian Kennedy, I am on Commanders plus 3.5. Yeah, the thing is, it moved down. The line moved down to 3. So I definitely like the Commanders. When you're talking about a close game with two playoff teams, Thursday night football is always wacky. You're looking at getting the hook there is huge. At 3, and if it moves on to 2.5, I definitely would like the Packers. I know it's crazy. We're talking about a point or a half point changing it, but like that's such a pivotal number for gambling. TB says, thoughts on Vikings defense rest of the season, still elite. Yeah, man. It was weird. It was a weird plan from Flores. Like they weren't blitzing. If you notice, like they're the heaviest. Flores blitzes more than anyone in the NFL. And they weren't blitzing at all. They were only sending 4 at most 5 guys the first half when the Bears did well. If you saw in the second half, they started bringing the pressure, and that's when their defense really stepped up, caused a turnover. Just Caleb played terrible. Caleb fucking played terrible. Sucks because he had such a nice start, and I know a lot of people are saying he can only play with scripted plays. Like I'm not a believer in that, man. I think Caleb will be fine. He's definitely gonna be fine for fantasy. The problem is, how will he be in real life? Because they have to win this year. Like this is it. Ben Johnson, they don't have to win like the Super Bowl, but they have to be improved from last year. And if Monday night was an example of what it's going to look like that professionally run, there were some time management issues. There was a lot of false starts. There was just a lot of bad stuff going on where that was my worry with Ben Johnson is great coordinator, young dude, first time coach. I think he's a good leader, but is he a good game manager and a good head coach? Which Dan Campbell is. I don't know if he is. I don't know if Ben Johnson is actually a good head coach. Well, if he's such a good coordinator like we've been sold, I don't think it's going to matter. But it matters for being like a championship team. So you need to be disciplined, and you need to have the respect of your players. And we don't know if he has that. Caleb is a free spirit. We're going to call him that. He paints his nails. Super weird stuff. Adrian, I'm looking at the Packers overhype from rival win in a short week. I mean, because this could just be the Lions are not the team we thought they were, and the Packers D was good last year. It's nice to have Parsons, but that could be the case where the Packers are overhyped. We know the Commanders are good. We know their offense is going to be elite. Their defense looked great. Unfortunately, it's hard to tell if that defense is for real because Russell Wilson is fucking terrible. The Giants are terrible. Week 1, that was just a weird spot. But yeah, I get your edge there, like your reasoning of taking the Packers. Guys, got anything else for me? Again, I'll read my bets one more time for you guys, and I'll stay in here as long as you guys have questions. We have I didn't say my long shot bet. I love this one, dude. Ben Sinnott, first TD is 100-1. I think it might have dropped to 80-1. I got it at 100-1 earlier in the week. He's the backup second string tight end for the Commanders. There's 2 ways this can happen. This could be a 3rd and goal from the 2. They bring in the heavy package. He only played 11 snaps week 1, but I feel like he's going to have an uptick of playing time. 100-1 is just free money, dude. We saw multiple backup tight ends score the first touchdown, or at least score a touchdown week 1. 100-1, dude. You throw $5 on that to win 500. And also, let's say it's not as high scoring as we think, and the first touchdown doesn't come to the end of the first quarter. If you get a Zach Ertz injury, Ben Sinnott would be like a 20-1 guy. So, dude, 100-1. Also, Jordan Love's first TD. I love these quarterbacks that can run first TD number. Jordan Love is 27-1 for first touchdown. So if you do like the Packers in this game, you think they're going to score first. Either way, 27-1. That is free money. If you get a boost, I boosted mine up. It's 41. It's 41-1. So I put 5 to win $250. Caleb, man, tough loss after a good first half. I just can't believe we lost that game. Like, that looked like JJ McCarthy looked so bad. They were so conservative. And the fact that we lost that game, I almost think that's a worse loss than the Ravens lost to the Bills, because at least the Ravens are like, yeah, we lost to Josh Allen. He did some crazy shit. Derrick Henry fumbled, kind of fluky. The Bears lost that game. Now the Ravens kind of like went into a shell and they ended up losing, but Josh Allen won that game. I wouldn't necessarily say JJ McCarthy won that game. So very disappointing loss for the Bears. And that would have been such a nice way to start the year at home. Cause I'm all these group chats in my fantasy leagues. I'm from Chicago. So everyone's just like, the range of emotions that I saw was hilarious in the group chat. I just stayed away from it because I'm not going to overreact to a half of football against a rookie quarterback on Monday Night Football. And it was just, oh, Caleb Williams is a god, all this shit. And then, oh, he sucks. It was like the Waterboy thing. Like, oh, we suck again. Steve says Caleb Williams seems like a hospital ball merchant is the thing. Yeah. Well, DJ Moore can attest to that because he got lit the fuck up, man. He doesn't really care. That guy's, I don't know. I guess we'll see. I'm a Justin Fields fan, so I thought we should have just kept those picks and rolled with Fields. I feel like that was a smart play to do. It's, unless you're 100% sure on a quarterback. But put it this way, the last sure thing we had coming out of college football was Trevor Lawrence, right? And Trevor Lawrence blows. At least he has blown. So I'm always weary of like the for sure thing. Like Andrew Luck was a for sure thing. That was the last one I know. It's 80-1 now. Good bet for you. Yeah, I still like sitting at 80-1, man. Like, you're looking at a guy that's going to get some playing time. When they get a 3rd and 2, if that happens, he's going to be on the field. And they're going to sell out to stop Jaden Daniels. So, like, and if anything, they're going to guard Zach Ertz. So, Ben Sinnott I love it. I know it seems like wasted money, but I feel like with the odds of what I got 100-1, if this game gets played 100 times, he's going to get the first touchdown more than one time. We got trade A-Chain and Quentin Johnston for Neighbors and Chubb in full PPR. I would probably do this. I think you were on the chat last night with this. I think you would do this one. You're getting Neighbors. I like Chubb. I think you do that one for sure. I mean, why not? What do you have to lose? You get the best player in the trade, and with the issues that they have in Miami right now, A-Chain could be a sunk cost, at least in the with the second round draft capital you drafted him at, and he's also a little nicked up. He's injury prone. I definitely am not a believer of Quentin Johnston either. That could be a guy that could be dropped in 3 weeks if they start playing Trey Harris more. You're looking at your Quentin Johnston stock being a wide receiver 4 on an offense that is ultimately going to be pretty run heavy. So I got Jacobs and Genty as RBs and Harvey on the bench as well. Yeah, dude, I would do that because you have Jacobs and Genty, and Harvey will come on late season. So A-Chain, get rid of him, get Neighbors, bolster your receiver room. Definitely do that. I'm going to be on later tonight as well, guys, doing a recap and then doing a preview for week 2. So that'll be around midnight. We'll see on that one. But if you guys want to subscribe, whoever's in here, get the notifications when I go live. 7 days a week, most likely. A lot of late night shows. I like doing late night shows. Not a lot of competition for views. And, if you're getting home, a little drunk, a little hungover, why not join me and have a little fantasy football talk in the Fantasy Football Lounge? So you guys like that Ben Sinnott bet, 100-1? Now it's 80-1, but would you do it? I wouldn't throw that in a parlay because that's just going to probably sink your parlay. But as a single bet, throw $1 on it, man. Like, what is that? It also makes the game really exciting because you have a chance to win $100 or $80 on a dollar bet. Like, I'm in on that shit, man. Who scores tonight? Bill and I am not the biggest JCM fan, so he might score a touchdown. I think that we're going to learn a lot tonight about his usage. I haven't heard the news. I don't know. I hear that Chris Rodriguez may be active. I don't know why they had him as a scratch, a healthy scratch week 1, which was good news for JCM. But if you start getting Chris Rodriguez back in that mix, it's going to be a clusterfuck there at running back. And Austin Eckler is still going to be getting his, 35 to 55% snap share, depending on the game script. They love Eckler there. Here's how I know they're going to play Eckler. They're still playing Zach Ertz. Ben Sinnett's a better player, like more athletic player. Zach Ertz is a corpse right now, and they're still playing him. We got, I'm hoping for a Terry Tutty. We need a Terry McLaurin bounce back. I do like his props. I had it in my parlay, 53.5 yards. A nice way to hedge that, or to, like kind of combine that, would be over on Terry's receiving yards. And I think Debo is like the same. I think Debo is right around that 50-yard receiving mark. And Debo can have a good game with some, his touchdown last week was a rushing touchdown. So I like the under on Debo and the over on Terry. They're gonna try to get Terry involved. Last year, I don't know what show I was watching, but they were saying every one of Terry McLaurin's bad games, he's prone to have some like stinkers, like 5 or 10-yard games. He always followed up with a 100-yard game. What up, Kid Curry? Do I go Bill or Ken Walker this week? I love how we JCM, which is such a weird name, a hyphenated name, long name. Now we just call him Bill. It's pretty cool. So good for you, Bill. Do I go Bill or Ken Walker this week? I would go Ken Walker. I would go Ken Walker, man. I wouldn't give up on Ken Walker. You spent a third or fourth. At lowest you could have got him as a 5th round. I'm going Ken Walker for sure. Give him one more chance. That was just a weird thing. And like the usage was scary with Charbonnet, but I watched the film and it was the offensive line. Every time Charbonnet got a carry, same exact zone read play, Charbonnet was not getting touched 5 or 6 yards. And every time Ken Walker got that same carry, same situation, same game, he was getting tackled in the backfield. So like that stuff tends to even out. Steve says last year he started off with 2 absolute stinkers and then caught like 12 or 13 tutties. I think McLaurin had 13 tutties. Yeah, and that was, also tied to the fact that it was Jaden Daniels' first couple games. But dude, that's still the number one there. All these, like if you have Deebo Samuel, trade Deebo Samuel right now. Injury risk, not the number one there. Trade Deebo Samuel. Like the fact that people are ranking him ahead of McLaurin for this week is just bonkers, man. I know McLaurin was a hold-in, didn't do a lot of stuff in the offseason and the preseason, but Terry McLaurin is still the one there. They paid him. Like Terry McLaurin's a professional receiver. He's a real receiver. Deebo Samuel is a gadget receiver. He's still going to be fine in fantasy, but I would never in any world want him over Terry McLaurin. Like I think that shit's gone too far. So not into that at all. I would not do that. Casey says, I bought low on Terry for a reason. He scares me, but too much value on him. My only shares, I got 3 McLaurin shares, and 2 of them I got in the end of the 5th round before he signed. I was doing drafts like 2 weeks before the season started. Super happy about that. Juke says, do I like Golden over 5.5 receptions tonight? Dude, I don't think you want to mess around with any of the Packers receivers. I think the play is Tucker Kraft. If you've watched this show, I love Tucker Kraft. I think a good play would be Romeo Doubs receptions. I think that's 3.5. I like that one. Jaden Reed, if you want to mess with him getting a touchdown, because that's all that guy does. And then I think if I want to do a Golden prop or a bet, I think I would go with his long reception. I don't know exactly what that is, but I think it's kind of short. I'm going to give Golden a couple chances downfield. But over 5.5 receptions, is that an alt line? Like I'm guessing that's an alt line because it should be like 3.5 or 4. No Packers receiver should have a line of over 4.5 receptions. Now, the worry is we were sold that Matthew Golden's the every down, every snap receiver out there playing X or Y, but he only played 50% of the snaps. Now, it was a blowout. He came down with a little injury, so I'm hoping that's the case if you're a Golden owner, but what is it, like plus 200, Juke? Because I could get down on that one. It's hockey lines, man. It's like they rotate the receivers like no other team in the NFL. And like even the Ravens, who are known to do that, they still play Zay Flowers 86% of the snaps. So the fact that Golden's barely playing, I know it was his first game, but like Wicks came into the game hurt. Jaden Reed has a fucked up foot, and Doubs is just a guy. And the fact that he still only got 50% of the snaps is quite alarming to me. I guess we'll see. I think we got duped though. Like obviously that the hype on Golden, with the fact that I saw him go sometimes in the 7th round, just got out of control. Like I saw someone take Golden over Chris Olave. We're talking about a number 1 in that offense. Like, no, thank you, man. No, thank you. We'll see. I could be wrong, but like we just weren't anticipating Jaden Reed being fully healthy, apparently, to start the year. We didn't expect Wicks to play early in the year, and those guys are just out there. So that just kind of kills any value you had with Matthew Golden because the value was volume. It wasn't that he's a dynamic, great player. Yes, first-round talent. well, first round draft pick, I don't feel like first round talent. And the Packers have just never done it, man. And like the problem is later in the season, we might have a Christian Watson issue. If he comes back, they're going to ease him in, but we're going to still have Christian Watson playing football. So, that's almost as bad as Quishon Junkins in the 5th. Man, those early best balls, dude. Quinn Junkins was going so early, and that was a bad pick, regardless of before the news of the the suspension, or it wasn't a suspension, but the fact that he might not play this year. Looks like he's going to be back, but like he's on a Browns team, and they drafted Dylan Sampson in the 3rd round, and they still have James Ford, and again he's on the Browns. So I would be looking to possibly buy low if he doesn't play this week, and you have a team that has him that's 0-2. I would possibly buy low on Judkins, but Dylan Sampson looked really good, man. So. Right. And like the thing about Steve says, that's why I love those best ball drafts. You get some value on actual good players that we know are going to see the field. So people always steam up rookies. The early ones, especially, it's risky because you draft a guy gets hurt, you're fucked. But the rookies go way higher than they should because it's just the new news, right? And just the recent developments of all these rookies breaking out, it's been too much. Like it's too much to have. Like the RJ Harvey thing, like RJ Harvey will probably be fine. Same with Henderson. Henderson was going in the 3rd round, and like it's a borderline hard start to make right now. Like you're limiting your ceiling when you're starting a guy that's playing 40% of the snaps on a pretty bad offense. Harvey, I mean, I don't know when he's going to overtake Dobbins. I think at best it'll be a 50-50 until Dobbins gets hurt, or until like week 13, week 12, something like that. Not a good decision, man. I don't have any Harvey. I have a couple Hendersons because I believe more in Henderson and I don't believe in Stevenson. But the problem is that we all were anointing the Patriots as like a breakout offense. I know it's just one game, but if they look bad this week against the Dolphins, that's gonna be a problem. Drake May will probably just be fine for fantasy because his rushing upside. But how many touchdowns are they really going to score? I don't think they're going to be a top. Like we were sold top 10, top 15 offense. It's looking like bottom 10 offense for the Patriots. So a little worried there. When last year was a bit of an anomaly with rookies, in my opinion, only 5 years of fantasy experience. I've been playing since 2000, like hardcore, like 10 plus leagues, and recently I played 20 leagues every year the last 8 years. But I've been playing since 2010, so that's 15 years of experience. And I followed the NFL before that, but I was younger. It wasn't like this, man. Rookies were like a fade. No one drafted rookies because there wasn't a lot of information on them. And now it's like we see these guys, we hear about these guys from their first year in college. And then when they actually get in the pros and they land in a hypothetically good spot, we just expect them to overtake the veterans. And the perfect case is Trey Harris with the Chargers. Like everyone was talking up Trey Harris, like, oh, he's a starter. And I know it changed when they signed Keenan Allen, but Trey Harris is a project. He always was a project. Yes, I took him in the 2nd round. I believe it was the 2nd round, maybe 3rd round. He was always a project, and he was never going to see the field for like competitive snaps on a regular basis. So that's an example of like Quentin Johnston was like vastly underrated and undervalued in drafts. And Trey Harris is going ahead of Quentin Johnston. I don't think I did a single draft. And most of my Fantrax leagues are 12 teams, 18 rounds. So 8 bench spots, and there's a flex. And I don't think I saw a single league where he got drafted. And like, I get a lot of people hate on him, but I mean, he was a 1st round pick, man. Like, Johnson was a 1st round pick, had 8 touchdowns last year, and just overlooked because everyone was worried about Trey Harris. So in hindsight, he should have been like a 12th round pick. Like, I think I still like him more than Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's probably safer, but Keenan Allen actually looked pretty spry. I was pretty happy about that. For anyone new that joined the chat here, my bet of the game is over 5.5 rushing yards for Jordan Love. I'm going to keep on saying that one because that's one that you guys should all bet. Bet that one. Thank me later. Get your bankroll going for Sunday. I'm also going to have my actual gambling segment. That's not a live stream, but that gets released at 7 p.m. Central on Friday. I have 3 bets, usually prop bets. I went 2-1 last week, but I'm 60 now with that. I'm 63%. I think it's 63% against the spread since the last 4 years. So I do 3 or 4 bets a week. A lot of quarterback rushing props. That's my forte. But 7 p.m. Check that out. It's 2-1 most weeks. I'll go. Rarely am I going to go 0-3. Steve, good point, man. Kickers, the kicking game in the NFL. You go back and watch the Bills' first Super Bowl loss with Norwood missing. It was a 40. I think it was a 47-yarder, which back then in Buffalo, it wasn't in Buffalo. It was outdoors, but it was on turf. He barely had the leg to get that ball there. A 47-yarder. Like now, like extra points, a 37-yarder, and we got guys kicking regularly from 55. I mean, 65 is not. I mean, look at Boswell, that game winner, 60 yards, dude. And how routine was that for him? 60 yards. Unreal, man. And Boswell has never been known for like the biggest, like his leg has improved as he's gotten older, which we wouldn't typically think that would be the case. But I love kickers. I think people that say kickers need to be out of the NFL, like some of the most exciting plays in football are kicks. It literally comes down to a kick, which is hilarious because they're not actual football players, and I'm not a soccer fan. Cam Little, 70-yard in preseason. Yeah, man, I'm lucky. I think I had Cam Little starting in 10 leagues week 1, just based on, I like the matchup. I saw he had a good year last year. The fact that they're comfortable. I know it's preseason, but they're comfortable rolling him out there for 65, 70-yard field goals. Doesn't hurt you in these leagues if he misses. They're definitely going to be comfortable from 55 every time. I wonder in like 5 years, 10 years, like where we're going to be for kickers, because if they're already kicking 65, we're not going to say 70 because that was preseason. That was one guy, but like Brandon Aubrey, if 65 yards isn't that crazy for these guys, in 5 years, we're going to see field goals from like 75 yards attempted, like especially at the end of half and end of games. Like, why the hell not? If they have the leg to do it, like the likelihood of them kicking a 70-yard field goal and making it seems much higher than hitting a Hail Mary, unless you're Aaron Rodgers. But Aaron Rodgers won't be in the league. Steve says, I have my $500 league. I've been talking about where I traded Terry. You have Cam Little. No, $500 leagues are fun, man. $4,000 if it's a 12-team league. My Fantrax league is my 500 is they take some juice too, but it's $4,000 to first place. Yeah, Henry was fucking underrated, man, this year. Like every year. I mean, even next year, I bet he'll be undervalued because he'll be 1 year older, but like nothing's changing there. Derrick Henry still looks like the same exact player he was in his second or third year in the NFL. You look at that guy's workouts, though, like he's a different breed of cat. You know, he's a LeBron James level specimen. And I know football is a different breed, but we've seen Tom Brady. I know it's quarterback, but we see him play till he's 44, 45. LeBron James still going strong at 40. So Henry has a couple years left. And the thing is, he's tied to that offense. If Henry was with Tennessee these last 2 years, a year plus, it wouldn't be the same thing because Henry needs to build up some steam, right? And his acceleration was never good. It's even worse now, but his top end speed is the same. His strength is the same. The only other person, Nico, I was big into Drake London this year. I would still always take Henry over Drake London. Chase Brown was a tough one. Chase Brown or Derrick Henry, because it's a full PPR I'm talking about. So I like the upside of Chase Brown, but like typically early on, take the safe pick. Take a guy you know. Yeah, Derrick Henry will probably never be the number 1 running back. I mean, maybe I'll eat my words, but he's going to be a top 5 running back, like guaranteed. And those weeks he has, like week 1, like you're going to win your week. He scores 30 fucking points. So I love it, man. Absolutely love it. Chase Brown's not quite the player. Like he's not the player that most of these other high draft, these fantasy draft picks are, but he's tied to the Bengals offense. And hey, Mr. Rogers, everyone in the fantasy community keeps on saying Henry's going to drop off, and it just never happens. So the problem is we like to get out 1 year early opposed to 1 year late when we're talking about a second round pick. Where like Devontae Adams was an example of that this year, where I just didn't take Devontae Adams because I wanted to get out 1 year early. All the metrics still look good last year. When he's engaged and trying, which we know the Rams are going to be competitive, like there's no reason for Devontae Adams to pull a Tyreek Hill. But I want to get out 1 year early rather than 1 year late. I think the exception is Derrick Henry. Like that is the exception. Tom Brady was an exception, but generally with running back, I know Saquon, he's not quite as old, but Saquon's gonna be just fine this year. All the fades of Saquon for like all the experts, right? Just saying, like they were saying, pick him in the end of the first round. Like that's just a stupid decision. You take a running back on a elite offense with the best O line in football that wants to run the ball, and it's Saquon Barkley, who's an all time talent. Like easy pick for me. Easy pick. I still would probably want Gibbs over him, and I did take Gibbs over him just because it's PPR. And that might be a bad pick, dude, because you might get a lot of catches from Gibbs, but if you're not getting the explosives and you're not getting the touchdown equity, because you're still going to have Montgomery there snaking some touchdowns, that's going to be an issue. But again, 1 week, we all overreact to 1 week, and that's all you see because these people need content. Like I'm not going to overreact too much. I would more overreact to positive stuff than negative stuff early on. But even the positive stuff, I'm going to overreact to the positive stuff from good players in good situations. I'm not overreacting to Quentin Johnston or, like Harold Fannin. I feel like he probably was not worth the number one waiver claim. If you had like the 8th or 9th waiver claim and you need a tight end, I get it. But like to use your number one waiver claim that you could hold all year and get a stud running back for a tight end 2 on a team, at least for now, is silly, man. Like, and that's fine. People want to do that. Let them do it. You'll win your league. They won't. That's the key. All right, I got a couple more minutes. You guys have a couple more questions. I'm going to grill some food and then have some beers and watch the game. But like I said, I will be on later tonight with a recap, and we're going to go through all the week 2 games, more start-sit questions, all that stuff. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I'm going to be on here almost every day talking football, talking everything, man. Whatever you guys want to talk about, I am in for. What do we got? Oh, exactly. Someone's starting Fannin over Kraft in your league. Yeah, that's a mistake. Tucker Kraft's a top 5 tight end. So what do you think like the most likely scenario is for Tucker Kraft? Or sorry, for Fannin? It's going to be 3 catches for 14 yards, dude. Like, and he might only play 50% of the snaps. Like that is my worry there. And people love it, man. They love it. I won't be doing that. I did pick him up in a couple leagues, but yeah, that's silly. That's silly stuff, dude. That's fine. I do like Fannin like long term. I think Njoku's going to get traded, so that's cool. But Flacco does love his tight ends, but he still likes David Njoku, man. Like David Njoku did look kind of cooked. I'm not going to say cooked, but he looked a step slower. But they need to keep. They can't just play all rookies, right? They can't. They can't start playing Isaiah Bond. They're going to have Judkins, Bond, Fannin out there. I know their season's like already over before it started. This is a good one, man. Some people are giving up on Kenneth Walker for 10 cents on the dollar. I am panicked on Kenneth Walker. Again, I only have 1 share of Kenneth Walker. I am pretty panicked on that one. But the thing is, if you have Kenneth Walker, the last thing I want to do right now is trade him because he's not hurt and we just don't know. It was 1 week. Silver Soul, start Quentin Johnston over Waddle. I would not do that. I'm giving, as long as Waddle's healthy and that injury isn't anything, he had a shoulder injury that popped up in the middle of the game and came back. I'm giving Waddle 1 more chance. I'm giving the Dolphins 1 more chance against a pretty porous Patriots team. So that's an overreaction thing of like Quentin Johnston is still the number 3 receiver there. So I am still 100% starting Jalen Waddle over Quentin Johnston. Kenneth Walker was a bad draft pick, but the week 1, yeah, he was a bad draft pick. Charbonnet, I guess we all just assumed he was going to be the guy, but Charbonnet proved last year he has a different skill set and probably a better skill set for what this offense wants to do. They don't want to get cute. They want to run the ball down your throat. They want the yards that are given to the running back. So what up, King Crazy? He has Kenneth Walker, Kamara, Hubbard, Jordan Mason, and JCM. Who should I trade? Can't trade Walker right now. Kamara will probably have better days ahead, so don't trade him. I might try to trade Chuba Hubbard because he ended up salvaging that day. If you watch the game, it was a fluky-ass 30-yard receiving touchdown when the game was over. I think you can get equal value for Hubbard, and I think that's the play is trade Hubbard. I would keep Mason because his stock is at the same it was where you drafted him, and I like him long-term. JCM has a lot of pop potential, but I think I'm trading Chuba Hubbard to a team that needs a running back because you have Walker, Kamara. I know it sucks because like he's your one safe guy, but shoot for the moon, man. Like if you can get a good receiver or even like a 2-for-1, if you have there's a team that needs like 2 running backs or has questions there, trade Hubbard and JCM. Hubbard and Kamara and try to get like a stud, right? Try to get a Chase Brown, something like that. Try to get Gibbs if you could throw in something else. Like always I always want to be the one that gives 2 or 3 players for one. I want the one back, the best player in the trade, and then I pick up guys on the wire that could marinate on my bench a little bit. TB says Waddle is cooked. I don't necessarily think Waddle as a player is cooked. I think the team is cooked, and that's a problem for Waddle because if they have Tua out there who sucks, and not to mention like it's going to get worse if Tua gets hurt, which is likely. I'm still not panicking. I don't have a lot of Waddle, but I still wouldn't be totally panicking on Jalen Waddle. So I would give him one more week, man. I like the matchup this week. Also, here's the thing with Waddle. Like I wouldn't trade him because Tyreek Hill could be traded, could be suspended. Like his value is only going to go up if we have a suspension. Poker Guts, what is his JCM's rushing yards at? Like 35? I always have a hard time just because you saw how good, dude. The Packers were elite last week against the run. Elite against a really good running team. So 34.5. Okay. I mean, it seems like easy money, right? Seems like easy money, but that if they fall behind, Austin Eckler's going to play a lot more. I know he looks explosive and I get it, but that's a tough one. King says my receivers are London, McConkey, and Justin Jefferson. Ooh. I definitely wouldn't trade McConkey because I feel like his stock's down a little bit. But I would definitely trade for Nico Collins for sure. That's definitely buy low. Is Kelsey worth starting? I mean, you're going to have to start him unless you have better options. I wouldn't start like a Dalton Schultz or Jawan Jennings or Fannin more than Kelsey because Kelsey's definitely going to be fine because Worthy is banged up. We don't know if he's playing. No Rice till week 7. So like Kelsey's going to be fine. I feel like he's more of a touchdown or bust. He's more of like a Mark Andrews now than he used to be. I would not. You're worried about Nico? I mean, I'm worried about that offense, but Nico will be fine. That was like the worst game of Nico's career. It just so happened to happen week 1 when everyone's watching, and that's all the data we have. The offensive line looked terrible, right? Stroud looked terrible, but I am not worried about Nico at all. Nico's fine. I don't think we overdrafted him. I think that he is a 10 touchdown receiver that's going to get a lot of work. So I'm not worried about Nico. I would trade for Nico right now. He's healthy. There's no one else there. The problem is no one else there hurts him because they're doubling him, but they're going to have to start using him in more creative ways. Use him out of the slot, put him in motion. They never do that stuff with him, and he always wins anyway. So if they start doing that stuff with him, it's only going to be a boom for him. Based on my team, what do you think I need? It's half point PPR. You need running backs for sure. So you have really good receivers. So I would probably try to pair McConkey and Chuba Hubbard and get yourself a stud. You can get yourself a first-round running back for that if you have a team that has need. If it's a 12-team league especially, someone will need some depth and 2 starters, and you can get your elite guy. Nico and Higgins, big yards Monday. Tampa gives up the yards to wide receivers. Higgins, I don't know how much he's going to see the field, Poker. They were playing Xavier Hutchinson ahead of him. They were playing Noel and him were kind of splitting that spot. So I think Dalton Schultz is a sneaky bet and a sneaky play this week because Cade Stover, the backup tight end, is hurt. Schultz already played a lot of snaps, and he's a security blanket Stroud loves him. I don't know why. Schultz is bad, but someone's got to get those targets. Someone's got to be that security blanket. I think that's Schultz. I like Higgins long-term, though. I think Higgins is going to carve out a role. We all assumed in the community that it was going to be Higgins from day one as a starter. That just hasn't materialized, but we're going to have to wait and see on Higgins. I do like Jalen Noel, but the problem is he plays the same position as Christian Kirk, and we haven't had any updates on Kirk. I'm guessing it's bad for Christian Kirk because they ruled him out really early in the week before last week. So we'll have to see. All right, that's about it for me. I'll answer a couple more questions. I have to go start the grill here in a little bit and get ready for this game. If you haven't subscribed, I'd really appreciate it if you did. We're going to be live tonight around midnight for a recap and a look ahead at week 2. Talk about some bets we like on Sunday as well. To recap, though, Jordan Love over 5.5 rushing yards. That is a smash. Please bet that right now. You will thank me later and come back. And if I was eligible for donations or super chats, I think you do it because you're gonna clean up on that. Pat is trash. I like that name. I got a steak and chicken wings. So I'm going to have a steak and some wings. My wife's going to have wings. Can't go wrong with that, man. It's man food, dude. Man food. Another bet I like. Again, this is a long shot, but Ben Sinnott. It's now 80-1 for first touchdown. I got it at 100-1. I still like it at 80-1. Sprinkle a little bit of change on that one, man. You made $80 for a dollar bet. Love that bet. The parlay is Daniels over 46.5 rushing yards, over 48.5 for the game total. Terry McLaurin over 53.5, and Jordan Love over 5.5 rushing yards. Love that parlay. That pays 9-1. So if you get that boosted too, you're looking at 30-1. So last name, who's my pick for MVP? Well, I mean, the obvious picks is just Lamar and Josh, because it seems like how are they not going to win it besides voter fatigue? I think Jordan Love has a good shot, because what do we know about MVP? And it's going to be a quarterback, and it's going to be a team that wins 12 or 13 games, or at the very minimum 11 games that really overachieves. So Justin Herbert's in that conversation. After that game, Baker, good call, poker. Baker's in that conversation. He threw 3 touchdowns week 1. Justin Herbert's in that conversation. Justin Fields. No, I'm kidding. But hey, if they made the playoffs, Justin Fields, maybe. Baker's going to bake. I mean, Baker is missing his left tackle and a lot of his weapons right now. So last name says, which Packers receiver do I like today? If in terms of like bets or starting in fantasy, because those are 2 different things. Hey, it's not a bad, an awful excuse for a beard. People always give me shit about my beard, man. That's fine. I can handle it. Gets me noticed. Which Packers receiver do I like today? I would say I'd probably have Golden ranked the highest, but Jalen Hurts could be MVP. I mean, if he rushes for 18 touchdowns, that's a good one. Yeah, Wirfs might be back, actually. Wirfs might be back a little earlier than we thought, which is pretty cool because they need him. And Tristan Wirfs is like a top 3 tackle in the league. Bets, I like Romeo Doubs reception total. I think it's 3.5. I like all the Tucker Craft props. So like I'm a big Tucker Craft guy. So I think that one, I think he's at 30, low 30s for yardage total. First touchdown. I like the long shot for first touchdown, which is Jordan Love at 27-1. Love that one. Obviously my Sinnott bet, but Tucker Craft would be a good option there. Also, I like Matthew Golden's long reception. I don't even know the number, but I think they're going to give him a couple long shots. It can't be that long. It's probably like 21 yards. I do like that when they're going to give him some shots downfield. He is their field stretcher. But Romeo Doubs catches. I think Jaden Reed, I would only mess with him at the anytime touchdown because that's kind of what he does. He only played 36% of the snaps week 1. What do we feel the ceiling on Golden is this year? Not high. Not based on where you drafted him. He looks like another dude. I never liked him as a prospect anyway. He was the second best receiver on that Texas team behind Isaiah Bond. The only reason Isaiah Bond didn't get drafted is because he's a knucklehead that had like legal issues and big character issues. But Golden could be, I think his ceiling could be a middling wide receiver 3. I'll give him that. But with all these other guys healthy, it's just rough. You got Kraft and you got the other receivers and you got Josh Jacobs. And the problem is you have an elite defense, it appears. So like the passing volume week to week is probably not going to be there for the Packers. 17.5 for Golden on FanDuel for longest reception. Yeah, dude, I'm gonna have to sprinkle that one in there because that's nothing. That's nothing, dude. They took a couple shots to him last week too, way farther than 17.5 yards downfield. So, and he's got decent yak ability. Like, yeah, and I expect this game to be more of a shootout than most. I know that the over-under is kind of high for Thursday Night Football, 48.5. But again, I told you that stat about how only 3 games week 1 went over, not counting Monday and Sunday Night Football. So I definitely like, Ibuka longest reception. What's that at, poker? That could be a good one. And Baker's fucking aggressive, man. We like that. All right. That's it for me, gentlemen. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I'll see you guys tonight if you want to get on. Again, I'll be doing these shows almost on a daily basis. I appreciate most of the positivity besides the one guy ripping on my beard, but at this point, I'm pretty used to it. So no worries. Yeah, check out Mika's thing. We'll talk about that one in the next stream, but I appreciate you guys commenting and being cool. So thank y'all. I sound like a hick now with my beard. God damn it.